So my common sense tells me that eating my mom's lollipops, I don't usually do that. My common sense tells me that it is virtually impossible to, for one, like if someone in the household gets sick, for you to not get sick. You know what I mean? It's just, unless the person who, you know, so someone gets sick, and generally everyone in the household gets sick. So if you've got kids get sick, the parents get sick, vice versa. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bite this and come out. Part of me believes that it would have been better if when I was sick at the same time, because this can be really bad where she got me sick, okay, let's make that perfectly clear. She arrived here sick, okay, I wasn't sick at all, and wasn't sick at all until today, which is Wednesday night, okay. And interestingly enough, it coincided with the arrival of my period. And bitter cold out. I'm not stupid. I knew I was going to get sick. I knew it was inevitable. But the thing is, I knew I was going to get sick. Again, she got me sick, not the other way around. She was coughing up phlegm Saturday morning. She arrived here Friday late afternoon. Okay, so, but she really started showing symptoms Sunday. On Saturday, it could be a fluke, you know. I knew. I mean, how do you stop it? You can't. When you have someone in the household sick, how do you not get sick? I washed my hands constantly, but I mean, come on. The germs are everywhere. If my mom coughs and doesn't cover her mouth, anything she touches, I mean, it's impossible to not get sick when one person's sick. It's just impossible. In the household, okay? To my recollection, I don't think I got sick all last winter. I fought it. I felt like I was going to get sick and then never actually got the full blown, but I was also living alone. Oh. And then when my mom was here, let me see, so she was in mental hospital, regular hospital, then she was here, but she wasn't going anywhere, she was just staying here. You know, you catch stuff when you go out. I don't know. All I know is she was sick. I wasn't sick for days, and now I'm sick. And I was just thinking to myself, she was sick, and I've been taking care of her all week. There's no one to take care of me. No. I was hoping I wouldn't get sick, all the while knowing that I would. You just have to have the most unbelievably strong immune system to not get sick when someone else, that you're around constantly in the house is sick. It's impossible. Like I said, I wash my hands constantly, but what are you going to do? Germs are in the air, She's coughing all the time. Germs are in the air. We were both watching World News tonight and crying, me and my mom. And she's super, super sensitive, just like I am, She can cry over a friggin' commercial, and so can I, but this 90-something-year-old woman lost her home in the California fire. And she's in a shelter with her dog, Maggie. And they couldn't find a home for her. And the woman in the background was like you can't separate the elderly from their animals. It'll kill the elderly, It'll kill them. Maggie's all she has is old. She lost everything, and all she had was a dog. And they were saying they didn't know if they could find a home for her and the dog. And it was so sad. I said to Mom, "Are you crying?" And she was like, "Yeah." And they came and they said, "We found a home for you." And it was like some kind of senior, whatever. And she's like, "And Maggie too?" And they're like, "Yeah, and Maggie too." So far, dead, worst fire ever in California's history. And I was thinking, what causes these fires? And I know that sometimes it's carelessness they always happen at the same time, right? At the same time each year, but sometimes it's carelessness with I guess people in campfires. Sometimes it's arson, and they were saying they could be from something, problem with the power lines too. No matter what it's from, Trump was insensitive to tweet what he tweeted, but whatever. I went 4 days without being sick. My mom was sick. And, actually, she didn't really start getting sick till Sunday in church. When she went to church, noticed it. And I had to cancel her. They wouldn't have me do the cataract surgery. I knew it anyway. I was just being sarcastic when I'm like, no one ever listens to me. I knew they wouldn't really have her do the cataract surgery when she's sick. It's ridiculous. Your body's fighting a cold, But I wanted to get to the store. So this is what happened. My mom was going to be here. I had taken out meat from her freezer, like because I make her those meals, and we were out of meals, so I planned to come this week, you know what I mean? And after she had spent the weekend, I had planned to come and make all the meals, so I had taken all the meat out of the freezer, a couple of packages. So I went to her apartment on no, I didn't know she was going to be sick. You know, it comes on suddenly. Just like yesterday I wasn't sick, and today I am, okay? And you always cross your fingers. I knew I was going to get sick. I knew it. I knew I was. I knew there's no way I would not get sick. And I've been trying to do, I've been giving us herbal tea with buckwheat honey, and taking reishi tablets that I ordered from Life Extension, giving them to her too, and I've been taking curcumin, vitamin C, drinking tons of fluids. I made the usual kind of meals that I make, with key ingredients of spinach and kale and mushrooms, all good for you stuff, Anyway, this is what happened. Since I knew she was going to be here, I got food from her house. Because I had actually gone there, not knowing she was going to wind up being sick. I had gone there on Saturday, because she'd forgotten, and I'd forgotten to tell her to take the meat out on Friday, so I could come, like, say, on Monday or Tuesday and make a bunch of meals, because we're completely out of meals in the freezer. They were, she took a long time, but they're gone, and now I'm going to start over again, We completely depleted the meal. She did, okay? So, and I got perishables. Well, when I knew she was going to be staying here because she's sick, and you're not going to be sick and just get over it like that. And it goes without saying, she doesn't want to go back to her apartment when she's sick. I mean, that's just, And I went over there on Saturday. It was 79. But it can get up over. But the windows were closed. But again, it depends on if it's a warmer day or not. I do believe that the vacillating temperatures from last week, when she was, hot, cold, this, that, or whatever, that probably got her sick. Can't prove it, of course, but people never know what gets them sick, All I know is it doesn't help. Alright, we'll forget about that. I went and got all the stuff. I took the meat out to thaw, and by this week, say Monday or Tuesday, if I'd gone over, it would have been thawed, and everything would have been fine. I would have cooked meals, whatever. Now, what are we going to do? I took out all the meat. I'm not going over there. She's not over there. I'm not going to go cook meals. So, Monday I went and I got everything and brought it here. Tuesday, I wanted to go to the store around here because I knew I was going to get sick too. I wanted to get us orange juice. I wanted to get us Puffs Plus, Puffs, tissues, stuff like that. But Monday she was sick and I'm coughing and so whatever, and I stayed up late. But the bottom line is, Tuesday came around and I was busy cooking and doing all kinds of other stuff. And then it gets dark so fucking early. It gets dark by 4:30, So I ran out of time, decided not to go. I'll go tomorrow. Tomorrow came. I got slammed with my period and started feeling sick. But on top of that, tomorrow is today. Today's Wednesday. Bitter, bitter cold and wind, and I couldn't take it. I just didn't care. I'm like, fuck it. If she's out of cereal, I'm like, I'll make her oatmeal. I got oatmeal from her place. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I carried heavy stuff. 15-minute walk from the bus stop. And I brought all the food from her apartment so we could have it. It wound up taking me an hour and a half. No one stopped off me right either. The record 12 cars went by me around here. No one offered me a ride, and I was carrying all heavy bags. It was bitter, bitter cold, and I was just miserable, but whatever. Actually, I don't think it was bitter, bitter cold. It was cold enough. Bitter, bitter cold. I think Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night was brutal. Windy. I was freezing. I already told you about that. I think. So, part of me thinks it's better when people, if you're gonna get sick, the same household, you get sick at the same time. Because I've heard before, and it makes sense. Like, I got sick a few days after my mom, so if she starts getting better, and I'm sick, she can get it back from me. You know what I mean? And then you never get over anything because you're not sick at the same time, and you can, you know. I wasn't feeling sick the least little bit. Not even when I had the long day on a Saturday when I went and did all kinds of errands. I also went shopping. I brought stuff to her place, food, and and I was fine. I was fine until today. Coincidence, I got my period simultaneously with feeling sick and with it being just brutal outside. It's hurting my throat talking, so I figured I'd give you this one video, let you know what's going on. I don't usually eat those lollipops either. I wouldn't make a habit out of it. The parents of that guy who I told you he took the plea, to avoid the death penalty. He admitted to killing his wife and 2 little girls. And now in Inside Edition, his parents were on there saying that they believe his story that nobody believes, that the mother killed her little girls, and then he killed her in a fit of rage. Nobody was buying that. I don't think a jury would buy it. But I said to my mom, your parents have to claim they were parents who have solid evidence beyond any doubt, solid proof that their kid is a murderer, psychopath, whatever, and they'll deny it. Well, these parents are buying his story, and they're like, we want him to retract his plea and go to trial and whatever. And they're like, they say, because to save his life, but they equate life in prison as losing his life anyway. But I don't think he's going to go back on it, and I don't believe him. I don't believe him that the parents just don't want to believe their son's a monster. That's all. It happens all the time. They don't want to believe it. So I didn't want to hear it. I said, Mom, that's going to make me mad, and of course it, it made me mad. Because they're like, my mother's like, I need to do what I can to save my son. He called up and said that he killed Shanae, whatever her name was, in a fit of rage because she killed the girls. And they're trying to say she's unstable and she's this and she's that, right? The parents of him who confessed to murdering her and his little girls, okay? They're saying that it's not true, that he had told them that the story that he tried to tell the world, And the thing is, nobody's buying it because there's so many people who say that that woman, whatever her name was, the murdered woman, like she loved her little girls and she would never, you know what I mean? So him, who has now confessed to murdering them all, he took the plea and no one's going to care that they're pure. His parents, his mother is saying that he called up and said to them that he had, killed her because she killed the girls. I don't think that he's going to change his mind and go back, but, parents had to say what they have to say, I'm just like, whatever. I don't believe it. And if he does listen to his parents and change his mind and retract his plea bargain and go to trial, which is what his mom says she wants him to do, he's not a psychopath. He's not a sociopath. He just what he said, his story, she killed the girls. She's unstable, she's this, she's that, but no one's saying it but his parents. That's kind of suspect, that's like, whatever. Whatever. I already told you about this. He values his sorry-ass life, and he didn't want to go to trial. He took the plea, which took the death penalty off the table. Well, his parents want him to retract it and go to trial. They say that he didn't kill the girls, that he told them what had happened and whatever. With all these mass shootings happening and whatnot, sometimes, like Joe told me about, that happened, there was one that was thwarted, I guess. Every once in a while, one of these mass shootings is thwarted by a citizen who happens to have a gun, has a permit to carry or whatever, and can stop the shooter, okay? I bet you know where I'm going with this one. I am so sickened by this, okay? This is sick, and I don't care. I feel, honestly, this is how I feel. Under these circumstances, why don't cops come on the scene and assess the situation rather than just jumping to conclusions? And, shoot first, ask questions later. It's ridiculous. As a cop, they can't, this is so sick. A security guard, black, of course, and the cop is white, of course, but of course the cops are going to stick together, and I'll tell you things. A black security guard, okay? A bar. He has a gun. He stopped a shooter. He stopped a shooter, okay? He got the upper hand, stopped a shooter, could have been more carnage or whatever. Why do fucking cops come on the scene? They don't know shit of what happened. Nothing. They shot him dead. They're saying that they said drop the gun to him. Okay, if he's got a shooter on the ground who he stopped because the shooter has a gun, if you tell me to drop my gun, and they're claiming, of course, people are protesting, people are sickened, so am I, because it's just sickening that you can't even do your job without getting blown away by a cop. I mean, the security guard did everything right. He stopped the shooter. The cops come on the scene, and like one of the bystanders was saying, you can't take 10 seconds to assess the situation. You're just going to shoot the guy dead. That's what they did. And again, the cops are sticking together. They're saying, oh, this was just a case of blue on blue friendly fire. No, it isn't. It's a case of trigger happy. You don't know what's happened prior. The bystanders, people were saying, we were saying it's a security guard, don't shoot him, but that can be a different situation too. It doesn't even have to be a security guard. It can be a citizen who has stopped the shooter and has the gun trained on the shooter. And in your adrenaline's pumping, like, why would that security guard think he's going to be shot dead? He did right. He stopped a shooter and he gets shot dead. And the police are sticking together and it's just a mistake. And oh my God. Even before I heard, I mean, even after I heard, I didn't hear before where they said, well, we said several times, drop your weapon. And he didn't do it. But the bystanders were saying that's not the shooter, that's the security guard. I mean, it's not right that cops come on the scene and they don't know what's happened. Again, sometimes it's actually a citizen who has a permit to carry a gun who has stopped a shooter, and the cops gonna shoot that person dead. I just feel like cops should assess the situation, take seconds to assess the situation, and not just come in shooting, you know, because that's how you shoot the wrong person. Innocent. The security guard, I mean, it's just sad. It's sickening. That is sickening. It's even more sickening to me that you know, the cops are saying, no, this is just, they're not going to, you know. I don't understand why cops will do that. You know. It's one thing when you stumble, you know that there's a mass shooter going on, but you don't know what has happened before you arrive on the scene. In this instance, the totally innocent, really nice security guard had a gun. He stopped the shooter and he gets shot dead by a white cop who comes on the, they come on the scene, and it's, you know, I bet, and I think it's just one cop, but they're all going to stick together. It's just sickening to me. And that is really sickening because, again, that happened to be a security guard. And you're going to tell him to drop his weapon, but he knows that I dropped my weapon and this guy who I'm pinning down can shoot me or something. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just not right. I can see why people are up in arms. I can see why the family's up in arms. It's not right. I'm not changing my mind just because the cops said drop your weapon. They're saying drop your weapon, but he knows that he's got a shooter, you know what I mean? I guess he was on top of him or something. I mean, you cannot just assume as a cop that the person that, but they did. They shot him dead. Or one shot him dead, but they're all sticking together. That makes me puke. It's sad. It's just sad, you know. He's doing his job and he gets shot dead. That's so sad. Because cops can't just, you know, you come on a scene you don't know. And again, Joe told me of a case where, I mean, every once in a while there's a citizen who could be stopping the shooter, and the cops just assume shit and come and shoot him, you know? It's the same fucking shit as a cop. That's why the bystander was like, you said what I would say. You can't take 10 seconds. You could have we were shouting that that's the security guard. They can't take 10 seconds to assess the situation. They have to shoot the security guard dead. I mean, and you knew without even knowing. You know, I heard one thing the one day, and then the next day we find out the truth. It's a white cop shot a black security guard. I mean, shot him dead. It's just sickening. To me, it's ultra arrogant too, you know. You have no idea what went down. You only know that there was a shooting. You don't know that it could have been just a good Samaritan citizen who stopped the shooter, who happened to have a permit to carry, and you're going to just assume that whoever, I mean, it's just, but in this instance, it was a security guard and shot dead. Awful. It's awful to me. And the cops are sticking together. I think it's in Ohio. I don't know, but I don't know where it is. But they're calling it friendly fire. It was an accident. Blue on blue friendly fire. No, it isn't. You came in guns a-blazing and can't even take seconds to assess the situation without blowing away the poor security guard who was just doing his job. Period. Oh. Awful. Awful. And a lot of those people who wind up dead in those fires, they don't evacuate in time, you know. They ignore it. There was one on there, he survived. I guess God was with him or something, because his 92-year-old mom wouldn't have left. And they were spared, but he decided that he would either die with his mother or they would either live or die together, but he wasn't going to leave her. So. And they were spared, their home didn't. Showed on World News Tonight. Some people, like they filmed it, and they were rushing for their lives, the 3 kids or something, and they said while they were, rushing for their lives, they saw them running down the street and barefoot, a woman holding her baby. And I told my mom about that, and I said, you might say, well, why couldn't they, it's survival, they can't stop and let her in, you know what I mean? They're in a rush to save their family, and it's horrible, but what are you going to do? People died because they ran out of gas. People's cars became death traps and they burned up in them. But the World News Tonight reporter or whatever was like, do you know if they survived? And the woman's like, no. They show it. They film it. There's an inferno on both sides. And then their cars going down and you see all the hollowed out cars. They said a lot of people died because they ran out of gas and they got burned up, you know. And to think of that image of the woman running barefoot with her baby. They said she was trying to get to a police car, something, I don't know. They want to make it out alive, of course. A lot of people didn't. They think there's going to be a lot more dead found. So far, 51. It was 40 something, and then the next day it was up 10. I told my mom, you know. So I didn't make it to the store before I got sick. I would have gone today. It was brutal out. I couldn't stand it. I didn't even walk home all the way. I just walked him down to there. You know what I mean? And that's only because he wouldn't go in the yard. Couldn't do it. It was too fucking cold. I just couldn't do it. And I was like, well, and I feel like shit. Do I want to walk in the brutal cold to the store, or do I want to have to be making my mom oatmeal every day? It's not that much effort to make the oatmeal. It's better for her than her Cascadian Farm granola cereal, fruit and nut anyway. It's not that much effort. Just stick the oatmeal in the bowl, boil some water. I just couldn't bring myself to go to the store. It was too fucking cold. I couldn't stand it. Remember, I don't do the whole cough syrup and all that. None of that shit. All it does is mask the symptoms, people. It doesn't make you better ever. It just masks the symptoms. It just, you know. I don't have any of that stuff in the house. I don't take it anyway, and it's, you know, I'm not going to the store, so it sucks because I didn't get the tissues. Tomorrow's supposed to storm. Let's get our first snowstorm of the year. In different areas are supposed to get different amounts of snow, but everyone's supposed to get some snow. And I don't know if, so I guess some areas are supposed to get a nor'easter. Is there going to be wind? All I know is that it's early. I'm going to go to bed early, hopefully. I taped the Country Music Awards for my mom. I watched for a couple of hours myself. Somewhere around here, I mean somewhere in I don't know what area it happened, but another one of those cases where it's probably going to be found that the driver was impaired, you know, chemically impaired. 2 injured, 1 dead. He was the boyfriend of the 20-year-old young woman. He was driving her car. She was in the passenger seat. I guess someone else was in the back. But she's the only one who got killed. The others are okay. It happened again early Sunday morning, so on a weekend night, like 4:30 in the morning. It was a miracle that people weren't home because the car wound up going into a house, smashing. He lost control of the wheel, smashed into a house. It almost cut the house in half. The car was in there. So he has accidentally killed his girlfriend. And all roads lead to it's going to be some sort of whatever. I don't know. Maybe not, but I was right about those 5 teenagers where the driver lived, but the other 4, he killed 4 of his friends. And I was right about that. He was impaired. Remember I told you I found out that alcohol, he was impaired and speed was involved. I believe I told you that. I remember saying, see, I was right when I suspected that. And the thing is, it could have been any one of them driving, and he has to live with the fact he killed his 4 friends. Well, this one, if it was the same type of thing, he killed his girlfriend. By the grace of